I'm João from Somos Jogos. Welcome to Portugal, Dave. Let's start by the simple question. Who is Dave Ranyard?
Me, I think. So I'm Dave Ranyard. I run Sony's London studio. We've spent the last 3 years now working on VR. It's been really exciting 3 years. We've started off with some very small prototypes, and then we've built slowly. We've started showing things at different shows like this wonderful show in Lisbon, and it's been a great opportunity for us to work on something so new and exciting, but also at the same time to get feedback from real gamers and people who are really passionate about gaming and experiences, about the things that we've been making, which is quite rare actually when you're making games.
Yeah, that takes me to another question, because at the Vando studio you're like an experimentation camp, because you developed iToy, you developed SingStar, you also worked on Wonderbook. So do you see the Vando studio more as a place where you experiment, where the next level of gaming is, or development on the normal basis?
We've always seen innovation as part of our DNA, and in fact, even if you go further back, when we did the Getaway, for example,
yes,
that was actually,
I was missing that one.
Yeah, well, there was no loading. Right? You could drive around London, there was no loading. That was huge at the time. There was no hard drives back then, and there was no on-screen display either. So the way
was a real adventure.
Yeah. The way we told you which way to go when you're in the car was to put the indicators on.
Yeah, later it was used also on other games like Burnout. Burnout Paradise also used the same system. The Getaway, it's a wonderful game. We are seeing almost like a spiritual sequel for the Getaway on the PlayStation VR now.
So it's been an influence. Let's say I worked on the Getaway back then. I was the audio programmer. So it's been quite, and there's a few of us in the studio still who hark back to the days of the Getaway. So it's been nice to use it, and it was a great, it's a great universe, you know. So it's inspired us. The studio's in London, so it feels very grounded there. So yeah, I mean, it's helped us with the London heists, just giving us a bit of flavour and a bit of something that we knew people would be attracted to.
Does that make London Heist, that influence, does that make London Heist your favourite VR game, let's call it at the moment, or do you have another favourite one that you can talk about?
Well, I am very, very proud of the London Heist. You know, it's not me, it's the people in the studio who are incredibly talented who put that together. But I actually think if you're trying to be objective and not subjective, if you actually look at VR, I think it does do a lot of things that show the promise of VR. So you can have a real interaction with a virtual character. You know, they look at you, their eyes follow you. You know, I mean, we did a lot of prototypes, and we had these kind of showroom dummies, but we got them putting a gun to people's head. It's a very, very different experience when you're in VR, kneeling down with a gun pointed at your head, compared to seeing that on a TV screen. You know, it's much more personal.
It's completely different, much more scary.
Yeah. So a London Heist, it does loads. You know, having the move controllers to give you hands, it's very intuitive. For me, a London Heist is like stepping into an action movie, and I think that's a promise that, you know, certainly for me as a kid, when I go and see the summer blockbusters, I always wanted, and it feels like we're getting close to delivering it.
Okay, so you're not just seeing the movie, but being in the movie at
exactly,
this moment. Yeah. I understand the feeling. Why is the VR not a product that you can use on your computer, for example, like an Oculus Rift?
Oh, I see. Okay, so I think the best way to think about it is if you look at the PlayStation ecosystem. You've got the PlayStation 4, right? The most powerful console on the market. You've got the DualShock 4, which is a great controller. You've got Move controllers, great motion controllers. You've got a good camera that does all the tracking for you, and you've got the headset itself, which is a great piece of kit. You've got that ecosystem does an awful lot. You can have input just with the headset. You can have input with motion controllers. You can have input with DualShock 4. We know the power of the PlayStation, and we know exactly what the headset is. As a developer, I know if I get things working for all those 5, it'll be the same for you, for that person, for that, but it'll be the same for everyone.
It'll be a perfect experience.
Perfect experience. And also, if you look at a traditional console life cycle,
yes,
the games at the beginning of the life cycle, and the games at the end look amazing.
No, you can see that. You can see that nowadays with the Uncharted collection. Even on PlayStation 4, you have a clear difference between the first one, which is more like a goofy cartoon kind of character, and then you get to 3, which is almost perfect. It's a graphical side and the controllers, everything is really perfect, and we know that.
The same will happen with PlayStation VR. I'll be really proud of everything we launch with, but that's the beginning.
Yeah.
There's loads of refinement to improve our pipelines. We can find a bit of optimization here and there, and 2-3 years after, think what they're going to be like then.
Okay. Are you thinking of maybe like with the PlayStation? Usually PlayStation launches the first console and then they slim it down to a new version. Do you think that there will be a second VR?
Well, I think it's the beginning of VR. I don't think VR is going to disappear. I think it's going to be here to stay. So clearly there'll be different versions in the future. What those are and what revisions, I couldn't really say.
I'm really positive, like you, about the VR, but I have some withdrawals because, for example, the PlayStation Move, it's a great controller, but it was launched on a time that maybe it wasn't perfect because it kind of felt undesirable, because people wanted to play games with a real controller, not with the PlayStation Move. Do you think that VR can have that problem, or will have that problem?
Well, I think actually, so people talk about motion gaming, 3D TV, even camera gaming. I think they're stepping stones to the big prize, which is virtual reality. Because the thing we can do with virtual reality is we can take you, put you in a different place, and that is a step change in terms of what we're delivering to you as a player. And if you see people play, talk to them when they come out, they go, that was amazing, I'm a convert, please take my money. They genuinely go, oh my god, I can't believe I've just done that. And so I really think that what we've got is a number of technologies that combine make this huge advancement for us.
Final question. Can we expect, since Dr. Dave already saw Lisbon and Mike Lisbon, can we expect like a little DLC called Lisbon Heist?
Lisbon Heist, yeah, very good. It's not on the slate right now, but I will take it back to the studio and see if we can.
Because it would be epic to have like just like a street made on VR, like a DLC for London Heist.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. I'll take it back with me and we'll
try it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Dave.
Thank you very much
for this interview, and hope you enjoy Lisbon Games Week.